Hey everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching today. So I'm going to show you how to make this very sweet Easel Tuck card. Now it reminds me of, I think it's the Joy Fold card that I made. It's basically like a Z fold on the side, and then you've got this piece that flips over. So it all fits into your envelope. It will go flat, or you could pop it into a box envelope. I've used my very cute Sweets and Treats. This is back in stock, but be quick because it sold out last time, and I know so many people wanted this stamp set. So if you haven't seen the notification that I put out on my Facebook page, or you've not been notified yourself via from Craft Stash, then check the links below because you'll be able to find it there. I've used the papers as well. But that's how it will look when it comes out the envelope, and it stands like so. You'll see that it stands up really nicely. And then they just open it up here and it says, "Calories don't count, it's your birthday, eat the cake." And there's another little donut in there as well. Very, very easy to do. So let me show you how. Okay, I will eventually have all of the measurements on my blog. So I'm not going to give all of these straight away. I'm going to say them as we go because there's quite a few mats and layers. So we'll start with this piece and this piece first of all. So this is for the main card. This is 11.5 by 6. Along the 11.5 side, you want to score 8s and 5 3/4. Okay, and you're going to, this one here is going to become a mountain fold, and then this one's going to become a valley. So you're actually folding it on the reverse. So if you flip that over and score again 5 3/4 that way, and you fold, so you can fold it in half and then just fold that one back. So that's your Z fold. That's a really nice fold on its own. Okay, and then this piece here is the flap, and this is 9 by 5 1/4. Along that 9-inch side you want to score at 5. You're going to fold that in half, and it's the smaller flap that will be over the front of the card because this is going to go in, and you'll see how that's going to tuck behind our little topper. Next you'll want this piece here. So this is 5 3/4 by 5 1/2, and this one is going to stick inside this main piece, and then this one will stick on top, and that will sit nicely in the middle. Then I'm going to stick down the 2 for here. So I have 2 pieces, and you'll see they're going to go there, and those measure 2 5/8 by 5 3/4. And then I've got a pattern piece just for the front one. You can do it in there as well if you want. And the papers that I've used on both of the cards is from this one here. It's the Shutter Card paper pad. So I used the donuts on the one that I showed you at the start, and then I've just used this one here. But I thought you could also use, because I know lots of you have this one, the Fun at the Fair. You have the sweets there. You got the donuts and the lollipops and the candy floss. So that would look nice if you're doing that sweet treat kind of theme. Okay, so this one's going to go on top, and this is 2 3/8 by 5 1/2. So apart from that one, I'm going to get all of these stuck down first of all. Okay, so then we'll go back to this one here, and I have these mats and layers which are going to go inside, and this is the one where you want to stamp your message. So I'll leave that to one side for a moment. So this piece here is 5 by 4 3/4. So I'm going to stick that one here, and then this one is 4 3/4 by 4 1/2, and I'm going to stamp my message and stick that one on top. So I'm going to get that done now. Okay, so I've stamped "Celebrate with Cake, Calories Don't Count," and that's from my baked goods stamp set. So now I'm just going to add my glue onto the back of this piece here, and you want to just make sure that this sits nicely within this square, so you've got an equal frame on all four sides there. Okay, so that's all nicely secure. Now I'm going to make a shaker front on this one. So the one that I showed you here, if you just want to decorate the front now, then you'll want a matte layer, which is 5 by 3 3/4, and then this white piece that I've stamped onto is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, so that's the quickest and easier way, but I just wanted to try something different with this one and turn it into a shaker. So I've got this piece here, which is 5 by 3 3/4, so it's the same, must be the same size as that pink piece. Yeah, it is. And then I've cut this piece slightly smaller. Okay, so just do the same size again, but just take a little bit off, and you'll see there it hides behind. I've also cut myself a piece of acetate, same size as that, so just trim it down a little bit, and that's going to go here. So I'm going to stick that one down first. So I've just popped a very thin layer of, or strip should I say, of red double-sided tape, or normal double-sided tape will be fine, but it needs to be a double-sided when you're using acetate or window sheet. So I'm just going to place that down. Just managed to save that. I went way too far over one side, so let's try that again. There we go. I'm just going to burnish that nicely. Okay, I'm just going to, before I start sticking that down, just going to spray a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a bit of kitchen towel and just rub it over. Don't worry if it gets on the cardstock, because it will evaporate, it will just dry completely clear. I'm just going to pop it onto something that's clean, and again just on the back there as well. This is recycled, I think this is packaging, so it's a little bit marked, but now that's got a lovely shine to it, so it just cleans it all off. Okay, so the idea is that I'm going to have this over the top, and I'm going to stamp my message, which is going to be the "It's your birthday, eat the cake." I'm going to take that one off first, and at this point you just want to start positioning things. So I'm going to have that one there. It's going to be filled up with these here. Now I showed these in a What Did I Get not too long ago. I picked these up from the works, and they're confetti, but I thought the colours work perfectly with these papers, and these are the images that I've used, so the colours in here match how I've coloured all of these. So pop that over the top. So I think I can probably come up a little bit higher, actually, maybe about there. Yeah, so we'll just stick that to the top of the stamp for the minute, and then I can just play around with these, which are going to be positioned on the front. Now I'm thinking with this one, so you'll see on the stopper here I've got my sentiment, but because I'm stamping the sentiment inside this piece, I'm actually thinking about having my donut on the little stopper. So I've got this circle here, which is 2-inch diameter, so I think I'm going to have that in the middle, and imagine it's going to be about there when it's tucked. So I have a little gingerbread biscuit there, and then we've got, so we'll move that away for the minute, and then I've got the custard cream biscuit and the pretzel, and you imagine you're going to see these sprinkles as well in behind there. So if you want to emboss or stamp, or you don't want that plain white, then, you know, by all means, you know, you can add a lot more to that. But because I've got the Celebrate with Cake Calories Don't Count inside there, I guess I could have put the calories don't count under there as well, but I think it's a bit much. I'm going to keep it like that. So I'm going to take this off. I know where that's all going to be, so that's fine. I've got that marked. Turn it over. So it's about there. So I'm going to get that stamped first of all. Okay, then I'm going to add some foam to the back of this piece. So I haven't got my usual silicone foam that I use for shakers, but I've got these foam strips here. So I'm going to just run these around. You want to make sure where you join them, you butt them right up to each other, just to make sure none of the little sequins or the confetti pieces don't fall out. And you can just tear this as you go. Doesn't have to be particularly neat or straight, as long as it's concealed behind that area, it will work fine. There we go. Now you can double the depth of that if you want to stick foam on top again, but they're going to be fine. So just take this all off. Now it's up to you how much you tip into this. I like mine quite full. Mine tend to be quite loaded shakers, so I always like to tip mine onto this piece and then stick the frame over the top. But I think if you start to flatten them out, because they're obviously going to be restricted, they won't be able to all sit on top of each other. So you want to try and get it as flat as possible. And then I know that when that drops, you don't want there to be so much in there that it covers your sentiment, but I'm pretty sure that's going to all sink down to reveal that quite nicely. So yeah, I think that'd be fine. So I'm just going to just get all those little pieces there. It's such a lovely effect. I'm definitely going to have to go back and get some more of these. Hopefully I'll maybe able to get some at the weekend. Okay, so now you might get a bit of static. You can also rub all around the sides of this with your anti-static buddy. You can rub all on this cardstock before as well, but because these are quite heavy little embellishments, I think they're going to be okay. You watch now, they're all going to stick to the top. No, it's fine. And then you just want to sit that down. Doesn't really matter how it looks on the back, because it's all going to be stuck onto the front of the card. In fact, I don't think these are going to really suffer with the... Oh, I forgot to take the tape off the back. You'll be laughing now. Some of you might have even noticed that, thinking, I'm sure she didn't take the tape off of all four sides. I'm going to see if I can tip some of them back in, because it seems to shake really well, actually. So let's just pop my little tweezers in there. There we go. Look at that. So we're not going to waste any of these, because these are precious. I got most of them in, the rest can go in the jar. So now just seal that up. But look how well that shakes. These are lovely. Definitely want to get more of these, and I love how they all settle. Some of them are sticking around the edges. I actually don't mind that. Kind of fills the white space at the top there as well. I think that looks really nice. So that's going to stick on here, and you'll see, because I'd already measured it, I've got that lovely white frame. So pop some glue onto the back of this. I think I've gone a little bit further over to one side and see the white here. So again, just, you know, if you've done anything like I've done, you can just go in there, just trim that, because the foam's there now, so it's not going to go anywhere. There we go. And then we can just place this one down. So it's nice and centered again. And that's going to go over that piece. So whilst that's drying, I'm now going to leave the stopper for a minute. I'm going to stick these down. I'm going to use some foam pads, because I'm sticking it onto cardstock and onto the acetate. So I think it'd be quite nice lifted with the foam actually as well. Okay, so I've changed it up a bit, and as a result, I was filming, I stuck it down and then I didn't like it, so I've taken it off again, but it's going to get covered again now. So you want to add some foam to the bottom of your stopper, but I would recommend, if you've done a shaker like I have, then you'll want to double up the foam. So I'm putting 2 layers on there. Because this one here is flat, it only needed 1 layer of foam, and you see it holds itself in there really nicely. What you want to do is keep it all flat, and you want to stick this down so that the foam is as close as it can be to the bottom of this piece here. So I'm just looking underneath from the side, and I'm sticking it slightly off centre as well. I haven't got this one right in the middle. So just make sure it's not touching. Make sure it's really secure. So now when you open it, it stands up. and it tucks behind that piece there. But it will fit into your envelope. Obviously this one's got more dimensions, you might want to pop it in a box envelope, but it stands up really nicely. It's got such a great effect. Again, I love the shaker, and that's all going to move around in the envelope. So it looks quite nice when it all sticks to the top and then a little bit. And of course, when they take it out, they're going to know to open it. And they've got celebrate with cake, calories don't count. And then they can really appreciate all of that design. I mean, you could, I guess, even clip it into that bit there, just behind the donut when it's open. If they did do that, let's see. Yeah, it's even higher up. It looks quite nice like that as well. So they've got a couple of options, but it has to be, you have to do it when it's completely flat, because if you put that foam on higher and you do it when it's all open like this, you won't be able to pop that in an envelope flat unless you do it like this and you tell them that it's to be displayed by tucking that behind. So either way, I think it looks really cool. In fact, I quite like how it goes underneath those as well, because that folds flat. In fact, that's how I'm going to do it. See how it's gone underneath the cupcake, because that's lifted on foam and it's gone underneath that. In fact, that looks loads better. So there you go. Perfect. So I hope you've enjoyed this easel tuck card from me today. I think it's lots of fun and it's very easy to do. I think it's just, as always, the decoration that takes us so long. Already many of you have been sharing your versions over on the Mixed Up Crafters Facebook group. So if you like to share anything that you've made following my tutorials, head over to Mixed Up Crafters. You just have to answer a couple of questions and then one of the admin team will approve you into the group. I will link as much of the product that I've used today in the description box below. If you've enjoyed today's tutorial and you're not subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe. And if you click the notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon.